Now, some of you will have already done this, and you'll know that running a marathon is a big enough achievement for most people, but not for entrepreneur Michael Tobin, who has just run 40 in 40 days. He was raising money for the Prince's Trust. Here he is on his final day.
Day 40 of my 40 marathons in 40 days, and I can tell you the great news that I am done. I am finished. I have done it. I have just come out of the Prince's Trust offices, having reached that at around 8:15 this morning. So relieved to have it over. I can't tell you how relieved I am. Very, very happy to have finished. Don't want to see a pair of trainers again for some considerable time.
I bet. Michael joining us now. Hello to you, Michael. First of all, congratulations. Well done. Secondly, are you completely bonkers?
Well, some would say, and I probably would agree with them now. Yes, I didn't realise what I was getting myself into at the beginning, and often through the 40 days regretted my decision, but happy to have finished it now.
Talk to us about where you ran and why on earth you got involved in the first place.
Well, I've been a supporter of the Prince's Trust for many years, and the work they do to help underprivileged young people in the UK get into training, into jobs, into further education, and to give them a break in life, give them confidence is outstanding. And I come from an underprivileged background myself, and I know how easy it is to fall slightly on the wrong side of the tracks or just get bad luck in life. And you know, this helps people, and it really changes the next generation. The route was simply around London every day, and it would run from my house in Rotherhithe through just across every bridge in London, round Battersea Park, round Hyde Park, round Regent's Park, along the canal, through to Shoreditch, back down again, and then it would change when I got corporate sponsorship. So I'd run into the offices of the corporate that would be sponsoring me on that day, and I'd give a motivational speech halfway around my marathon.
And did you get quicker or slower as the days went by?
Well, my average was just over 5 hours, probably about 5 hours 10, 5 hours 12. I got quicker over the first couple of weeks, mainly because in the early days I had very painful blisters, and blisters about the size of 2 golf balls, and so my feet were bleeding and terrible things like that. So over time they hardened up, and then I got quicker. And then I had a couple of real stinkers of days of sort of 6 hours plus, and that was really sort of me just being sluggish and lazy, I guess.
I'm sure. Don't be ridiculous. You did 40 marathons in 40 days, which is unbelievable. And do you have to do this ice bath thing?
Yes, I do, and that's probably as bad as the actual marathon itself. And my wife Shalina, who ran very regularly with me for the first couple of miles every morning, just to make sure I kind of got out of bed and did it, would then gleefully go home and run the ice bath for me and sit there smiling while I painfully got into it. But it does work. I mean, I noticed there was a couple of days that I didn't do the ice bath, and it really does change everything. The swelling goes down obviously when you do that, and it makes a big difference for the recovery time that you need to do another marathon the next day and the next day and the next day.
I can't remember who it was who wrote the book about the loneliness of the long distance runner, but I mean, you certainly did the hard yards, didn't you? Well, what was the hardest part about it?
Well, I think you have good days and bad days, and the blisters, the early days was really painful because you just don't have the option. You have to run on them, so you couldn't find plasters big enough to cover the size of blisters I had, so I had to bandage up. And it was extremely painful, and that was pretty tough. And day 3 in particular was a bad one, day 9. And then, when you get to sort of 20 marathons, you psychologically think you're halfway through, and then the devil on your other shoulders sort of saying, well, you've still got all that to do again, so you kind of, sometimes, some days you have you feel pretty motivated, other days you feel pretty down.
Now, do you know how much you've raised and how it's going to be used?
Yeah, so far we're well over £75,000.
Oh, wow.
We expect to thank you. We expect to hit 100,000 by the end of the month. We've got a lot of commitments already from people that are going to contribute over that period. And this already this year, the Prince's Trust has helped over 50,000 young people across the UK into jobs, into training, and it just gives confidence to them. And the workers that the Prince's Trust have, even on a mentoring basis, are so valuable to these young people. And that's the way the money's going to be used.
Did you lose lots of weight, and did you feel fabulous afterwards? That's what everybody wants to ask you.
Well, look, you feel good because you're doing a good thing. So I guess, charitable works are selfish in one way. I feel exhausted, and as I mentioned in the clip earlier, I really don't want to see another pair of trainers for a very long time. And I also haven't drunk for 40 days, so I'm probably going to enjoy a glass or two of champagne tonight as well.
I will get you all showy offy and everything. Was it the same pair of trainers the whole time?
Except the ones I threw out because they were covered in blood early on. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness me. So what are you going to do next?
I do a number of other charitable works. My wife and I trekked across southern India to raise money for trafficked girls in India and Pakistan last year. And that's for the British Asian Trust, another Prince Charles charity. I'm going to be doing a static bike ride in the Olympic Velodrome, which is obviously quite topical at the moment, in November to raise more funds for the British Asian Trust. That's my next challenge.
Well, it's great that you took the time to talk to us here on Sky News this afternoon. Congratulations, well done, and wow, what an amazing amount of money raised in 40 days. I was trying to do the maths. It's something like 1,200 miles, something like that, is it? A bit less?
Pretty close, yeah, a little bit less than that, but yeah, it's a long way, 1,600 kilometres.
Very impressive. Thank you very much indeed for joining us on Sky News this afternoon. Enjoy the champagne, put your feet up.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.